she was definitely a better passer than me. She has way more flair to her. She had way more flair to her game in the way she passed the ball. Like,
felt like we were crashing and the ball just kept going in. So, I mean, we feed off of that, feed off of each other, and it's just a fun end of that game.
Ever wonder what it takes to go from zero to hero in the WNBA? We're about to show you. We'll walk you through Caitlin Clark's record-smashing rookie season, Lexie Hull's 180-degree turnaround, and how they're breathing new life into a franchise that's been gasping for air. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Do you recall the bench warmer who was having trouble keeping up? Now she's going to slow down the game of the top defenders in the league. Envision a player who, on average, scores 3.8 points per game, being the WNBA's most lethal shooter. What would you think? Yes, Lexie Hull is the one we are referring to, an athlete who was on the verge of oblivion because he was barely making an impact on the league. Maybe she wasn't a good fit for the WNBA, the rumors were starting to circulate. Hull was facing increasing strain as her opportunities to show herself were dwindling. However, everything changed on August 18th. Hull did more than just show up in a match against the Seattle Storm. She absolutely blew everyone away. This is a new high for your career. You scored 22 points on 8 of 10 shooting. It gets better though, so bear with me. Of the 7 3-pointers attempted, Hull made 6. It's absolutely absurd, not to mention excellent. For the sake of clarity, let's dissect the first half. Hull went 5 for 5 from beyond the arc, which is just superb. Who is this player, and why has she been hiding? The question was asked by the crowd, her teammates, and everyone else at the same time. The rookie phenom who had everyone talking, Caitlin Clark, couldn't resist getting on the Hull bandwagon either, as Clark proudly announced on social media, this is now a Lexie Hull fan account.
Yeah, my account will solely be about Lexie if you want to follow. I'm going to change the bio too to Lexie Hull fan page. So,
Caitlin, we saw you tweeted that you're a Lexie Hull fan account now. What can you say about the performance
Twitter
you
really
had?
quick to tweet that, or X.
You know you've made an impression when the most talked about rookie in the league says nice things about you. But here's the thing, Hull's metamorphosis wasn't merely about scoring goals. With her self-assurance boosted, she joined the ranks of the dual threat players and began to shut down defenses.
So we're hard to guard when everyone's making their shots. So it's just exciting to kind of get into a rhythm as a group. And yeah, we're trusting myself, trusting the work I put in, getting extra shots every day, waiting for those open ones in the game to knock.
In an instant, Hull went from being an ineffective bench player to a pivotal contributor who had an effect on both sides of the ball. This was more than simply a one-off event. In the 10 games that followed, Hull maintained his hot streak, making over 70% of his three-point attempts. A level of regularity like that can shift perspectives and alter strategies.
And then we started looking far, and you've got players out there that just draw so much of attention. I mean, she was shooting some wide open threes and she put it in for us. I mean, Lexie Hull puts in the work. She puts in the work. She is, she just needed to see the ball go in the hole.
Christy Sides, the head coach, was effusive in her praise of Hull's character and performance. She made note of how Hull's offense had changed drastically once they started drawing the top defense. A player reimagining her place in the league, not only an improvement. The match versus the Tempest. That was more than just an impressive performance. It made a bold message. Instead of requesting attention, Hull was making her demands known. Her sudden rise from relative obscurity to outright stardom in the span of one evening sent shockwaves through the WNBA. The metamorphosis of Hull was preliminary. A different player was also in the middle of a frenzy across the court. The old adage goes something like, success in college doesn't necessarily translate to the pros. It appears that Caitlin Clark was not informed. When a newcomer flat out rejects the established norms and proposes their own, what happens? Now meet Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's most anticipated rookie in quite some time. What are the anticipated outcomes? Far above. The level of pressure, high. The skeptics, quite a bit, but Clark didn't merely go onto the court, she blasted onto it, shattering records and dropping jaws. Considering Clark's debut season, you may believe you've seen impressive ones before. Put it simply, it's unparalleled. The definition of a triple threat in basketball is being redefined by her. And she's not only living up to the expectations, just how? By accomplishing an unprecedented feat. Not once, but twice in the history of the WNBA. We can simplify it. Clark first became the WNBA all-time leader in assists with 300, surpassing all other players. You read that correctly. A rookie is achieving more than long-term league veterans. However, that's not all. She continued even after passing. Clark isn't only great at passing the ball to teammates, she also broke the rookie record for most three-pointers made. But now things start to get crazy. Not only did Clark smash these records, but she also combined them in an unprecedented manner. She broke a record in her first season with the WNBA, finishing with 100 three-pointers and 300 assists. That is revolutionizing the game. It is excellent. You may be asking how a beginner manages to do this. It takes more than simply expertise, which Clark possesses in abundance. The key is self-assurance. Clark said it best. Confidence is everything. You can see it on the court too. Clark's influence extends far beyond the statistics. As a result of her thrilling performances, arenas are consistently filled to capacity whenever the Fever play. Did she wear her jersey? It has surpassed all other WNBA products in sales and is moving quickly off the shelves. That's the power of a superstar, not merely admiration. But here's the thing, Clark isn't merely interested in her own glorification. Her passing and court vision have changed the offensive philosophy of the Fever by creating possibilities for her teammates. What a game changer. She's more than just a player. Clark is generating more interest than any WNBA player in recent memory. Her games are more than just that. They're performances. Critics have dubbed the event carnival-like, and her legion of admirers can't wait to see what she does next. And she usually comes up with amazing results. As soon as you believe Clark had taken center stage, the basketball deities decided to step it up a notch. How frequently does a game feature two record breakers? On September 8th, fans received far more than what they had anticipated. A match that would go down in WNBA annals was about to take place between the Atlanta Dream and the Indiana Fever. The playoff implications made for an electrifying atmosphere at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The arena was filled with fans who had no idea what a remarkable event they were about to see. As the match progressed, it became apparent that this was no ordinary basketball game. Caitlin Clark, who was already a sensation in her first year, was at her peak. However, she had company. The player who had gone from being a bench warmer to a sharpshooter, Lexie Hull, was ready to prove that she was worthy of all the praise she was receiving. It was clear that Clark and Hull worked well together.
For now, we just find a way to chip away. And I think at the same time, we have the confidence of knowing what our offense is capable of and we know what our offense can give. It's just really, Lexie's given the hardest task every single night, chasing their best player. So you have to give her a lot of credit too.
Hull was making good use of the precise passes that Clark was placing him in. The atmosphere in the arena became more charged as prizes were awarded. Some huge thing was going to happen, and the fans couldn't contain their excitement. The next thing you knew, the league was rocked. After getting the ball in the hoop, Hull made her fourth three-pointer of the game. This, however, was no ordinary three-pointer. That three-pointer helped Hull cement her 49.2% three-point shooting record, which is the best in the league. In the end, the crowd went wild, seeing Hull's amazing rise from struggling rookie to excellent shooter come to a head. Nonetheless, the evening was far from done. Clark was leading the offense like a seasoned pro as the game drew to a close. She had unrivaled court vision and passes that were as delicate as threading needles. Another record was broken at that very moment. For the night, Clark set a new record for assists, solidifying her position in WNBA annals. Witnessing the Favor's return was an incredible experience. The Dream's defense was completely bypassed by Hull's pinpoint precision from outside the arc and Clark's skill as a playmaker. Their performance was more than outstanding. It changed the game. The Fever's scoreboard read 104-100 as the final buzzer sounded, indicating an overtime triumph that seemed much more substantial. The gravity of the situation was finally laid bare in the interviews conducted after the game.
Especially with how we started the season, like I feel like they definitely deserve it, and I think they're starting to see how much potential this team has. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really fun game. Like these fans have just been crazy and so into it, and I feel like.
In his characteristic collaborative fashion, Clark lauded the group's work. I thought we just kept chipping away, got stops when we needed to, and then the crowd was amazing and helped us get it done.